So just establishing our comfortable sitting position for our meditation. Meditation is time to pause and become more aware of what is as it is in the present moment. Moving the mind away from issues, worries, concerns, thoughts about what has been, thoughts about what might be. Just allowing the mind to develop a calm, receptive, attentive knowing here and now. Our meditation is practicing being present, being here and now. And to help us to attend to the here and now, we can use the naturally occurring sensation of our breath as our reference point for the present. Appreciating that our breath is always only known and felt in the present moment. Helping us to connect into this place and point of existence, the present. So before we bring mindful awareness to the breath, just relaxing our awareness into our body, feeling into our body with awareness, getting a sense of our body sitting here, noticing a few contact sensations, all reference points for present moment awareness. Maybe feeling our feet connecting with the floor. Just noticing, sensing, feeling that our feet connecting with the floor, creating sensation. Bringing our awareness up to sense and feel the touch of our body, connecting with the chair or the meditation cushion or meditation stool. Noticing that. Feeling the support that the chair, cushion or stool offers, maybe even the warmth of our body against it. Just noticing. Just noticing, even noticing in a neutral way. You don't need to like or dislike, just noticing with neutrality. Bringing our awareness up further to our hands and fingers resting in our lap. Making sure they feel comfortable. Adjusting them if we need to. And feeling the contact sensation of hands and fingers. Noticing how they feel. Maybe it's a warmth or coolness, softness, even moistness. Sensation of our skin, of our hands and fingers. Maybe even touching the fabric of our clothes, something that. Just noticing. This ability to exercise and develop this quality or faculty of mind of just noticing. Noticing without getting caught into reaction, judgment, opinion, thoughts about past or future, but just noticing now, what is now. This is how it is. Bringing our awareness up to our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders without disturbing the uprightness of our back. Relaxing the shoulders. Feeling into the chest area, relaxing the chest area so we can breathe freely. Feeling that movement, the chest as it expands and contracts. And then feeling into the abdomen belly area, even relaxing the abdomen belly area so our diaphragm can extend fully. And feeling that soothing motion, the gentle rising up with the in-breath and relaxing down with the out-breath. Feeling into that perennial process breathing. Fundamental rhythm of life, the ebb and flow of the body breathing itself, not controlling or forcing. Letting our body find its own natural rhythm and process of breathing. Also noticing our face, maybe sensing the air connecting with our face. And also perceiving subtle light coming in through the closed eyelids. Even looking into that lightness, brightness, blankness through the closed eyelids, a forward focused gaze into the space in front through the closed eyelids. Few background sounds, but not being distracted or disturbed by those. Same with the internal mental sight or sounds of thoughts, not getting caught up into those either, but rather choosing to bring our awareness or as an attention to the sensation of our breath, wherever we feel it the most, which may be the nose, nostril area, finding that place of main sensation and directing our attention there and sustaining and holding our attention there. To feel the natural inflow, outflow of each breath. Feeling each breath while also looking into the lightness, brightness through the closed eyelids. And if it's helpful to have one or two mental, meditative words in our mind with the breath, such as calm in the in-breath, ease on the out-breath. Using these mental words in our mind, calm, ease, calm, ease, calm, ease. Helping to keep the mind free from distracting thoughts, developing mental collectedness, mental composure, and inner calm ease. Always returning our attention back to the breath if we become distracted. please help yourself to some tea biscuits, and you can have some reflections and discussion. Here, can I get you to put the two bottom lights on for outside, so it'll probably be a little bit darker as we go. Thanks. In many ways, meditation is a movement of the mind beyond words. Beyond words, so that the mind becomes silent. And when there's that silence, there's a sense of stillness, serenity, peace, which I think is really, really important to have. We all need to have that inner stillness, silence, spaciousness, serenity, peace. Particularly to contrast the often constant wordiness that our brain minds are going through. Often commentary that's happening and complaints that are happening, criticism, others, self, confusion that's happening, all to do with words in the mind. And certainly words that we speak as well, they break the silence. But at the same time, words can be significant, words can be special, words can be really suggestive of things that are difficult to explain, and yet words can help to create a sense of what we might be feeling or knowing. Hence the Buddha talking about the right use of speech and also the right use of thought, right speech. Following on from the right view, right perspective. But the skillful use of words, the wonderment of words. Who likes words? People that write books like words. Kirsty, you like words? I've always been interested in words, and particularly because I couldn't spell words, still can't spell words. But it interests me why they might be spelled a certain way, and not maybe how the word sounds, and it often goes back to their root word in a different language. So an English word that maybe has a root word in Latin or French or something else. There's a word that I've been thinking about over the week. It's an interesting word. It's a 4-letter word. And it has different meanings, even though the one word is pronounced in the same way and spelled in the same way, but it can be used in different ways and it means different things. And the word is dash. A word we maybe don't use too much. Dash. Sure, it's an English word, dash. Has a few different meanings. To dash, so a verb. I will dash and get it. So describing a movement, running in haste, maybe a short distance. I'll dash to get it. Not a marathon, it's a dash. So that sense of movement in that sense. Dash. Also, a dash can be a dash, a small amount. Would you like a dash of sauce with that? I put a dash of chili in there. I think you'll like it. Just a dash. So it's a small amount. And also used as to dash against something, to hit against something. The ship was dashed against the rocks. And yet there's another way in which it's used, which I want to talk more specifically about tonight, where it describes a punctuation, a dash, a line that connects maybe. It connects, but is connecting between two things, which could be in a sentence, or more particularly, numbers. Something which we'll all, we won't experience it for ourselves. We will experience it, have experienced it for others. A dash between two sets of numbers. In time, other people will maybe observe the dash between the numbers that have been allocated to us. A client in the week sent me a verse or a poem called The Dash. Anyone read this poem, heard of this poem? The Dash by Linda Ellis. So particularly those that maybe work in end of life might have heard it, or sometimes it's used at funerals. The Dash. It goes, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth, and he spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be real. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, Would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? So very true, very true. We even sort of saying English, as a sort of a phrase. He's done his dash. He's had his time. He's done his dash. He's done what happened. That's it. Done his dash. So even in this sort of literal sense, the dash as a line between the birth date and the death date. That's the continuum of what has been our life, all the time in between. And the interesting thing is, we all know what our birth date was, but we don't know what that end date is going to be. We live with that uncertainty. Very much what the Buddha pointed out 2,500 years ago. That was a source of unease for him as a young man, and seeking to find a way beyond being caught up in the stress and suffering of life, that is lived with that uncertainty. And none of us know when that end date will be. So it's about, okay, well, how long will my dash be? How long is this run through life? For some people, it's only a short dash. For others, it's a longer dash, maybe even a marathon. So it's significant how we spend that time. And one of the reasons that I was touched by this is that many of you know that my mother at the moment is in hospital, and I was down there visiting her this last weekend, and certainly get a sense that she's coming to the end of her dash. She's 89. She had her 89th birthday in hospital a couple of weeks ago. And she, even before she went to hospital, when I visited her at Christmas time, she said, "Oh, I've lived too long. It's all getting difficult. This aging thing, it's not that great, of course." But then she had a fall. She fell over, hit her head, concussion, and now she's got a brain bleed, and which is then now causing cognitive deficits. So her memory's affected, and also confusion. She is physically healing, but at the same time, she's her confusion and also being wobbly on her feet means that she may never get to go home, the home that she's been in for over 60 years, since she was about 21. So it's certainly sad, and be wonderful if her dash extends until she's 90 or beyond, which means it's good genetics for the family. But reflecting upon it, I'm living with that uncertainty as to how long she's going to live. The fact that my father died about 30 years ago, so that the next in line in our family is me. So sort of one starts to think about the process of aging, the process of illness, the reality of uncertainty, and also how am I spending my dash? What am I doing with my time? And as the poem suggests, are there things that we do feel that we like to be doing? In terms of how we're spending the two most precious things in our life. These two most precious things, which are life itself. Life is just time plus energy. Two resources that are finite in this mind-body complex, so that they won't sort of be manifesting and engaging forever. They're two resources that will run out at a certain point. So it's like, okay, so how am I using my time? How best am I using my time? Do I need to use my time differently, etc.? And certainly for myself, on reflection, I feel that I'm using my time well, using my energy well, sharing it with others in a way that's helpful and meaningful. But I think for all of us, it's begets the question of that the fact that we do live with uncertainty. There's a saying in Thai which I've said many times. The meditation group goes, "Rao mai ruwa pruni jaben wan mai ru jaben chat mai," which translates as, none of us really know whether tomorrow will be the beginning of our new day or the beginning of our new life. As in, we died last night and got reborn the next day. That Buddhist idea of rebirth. So we live with that uncertainty. And so it's about living mindfully, living with a sense of gratefulness, even living gracefully, living with a sense of joy, living with intention, living with purpose, making our life a blessing for others and certainly for ourselves, so that no matter how long the dash is, we know, okay, I've lived well. I've lived mindfully, kindly, wisely, caringly, and so that there's a sense of at easeness when that last moment does come, whenever that might be. So again, I think that really important to give that consideration and to ponder that for ourselves, because too easy to get caught up in the small things and even the petty things and the inane things that maybe don't have the weight of worth that we could be engaging time, energy for. And so that becomes important to use those two resources of time and energy in a way that's really important. And I think that, and as many of you probably have also lost loved ones and parents and maybe even siblings, there's a sense of, hey, it's a bit of a shake up, wake up to the reality of our human condition. That's how it is. That's how it is. And not to be complacent with that, because time is of the essence. And whilst we're still sort of at the beginning of the year, we're only like we've had 2 months of the year, just into the beginning of the third month. Still good to go, okay, well, what do I want to do with this year? How can I best use this year in a way that is not just a rehash of last year? If last year wasn't that great, it's another year to get by. But okay, how can we grow in this year? How can we evolve more than what we did in the last year? So even maybe using what we learned and what we experienced and from last year to step up into this year, and then even into the next year. So 2027. So it's a step up from how we lived and how we were, how we engaged in 2026. Engaging many of the Buddhist qualities and virtues and values to enhance our quality of life. And I think as a reminder, meditation is a real helpful way of bearing witness to the present moment, so that we're not living our life dashing around. What was your dash like? On my dash, I spent my life dashing around, living my life days ahead of myself, never really present to sit and savor the moment, whatever was in that moment. Sitting with a group of friends, doing some meditation, having a cup of tea, walking in nature, taking out the garbage, and whatever. So it's like being present for life, being present to life, in the present moment. How wonderful. But again, thoughts, maybe not so much words, but thoughts can take us out of the present moment into rushing into the future, so that we're in the present, but we're thinking about what's happening later tonight. What have I got on tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's Friday, which means that the weekend's coming. What's happening this weekend? And actually Easter's coming soon. So what have I got planned for Easter? So getting ahead of ourselves. Sure, it can be good to have some plans and to be aware of what's in the diary, but to only do that in a conscious way when one needs to, but to live every moment as mindfully, consciously, fully as we can. So that becomes like a life well lived, a life where we have a sense of fulfillment. So we're not saying my life is full, it's too full, but we feel my life is fulfilled. My life is full of present moment awareness, full of the experience of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling, knowing in the present. Not just caught up in the commentary or the dashing ahead of ourselves. Be with each moment of that dash as it moves along. And maybe, you're probably all aware that the health benefits of meditation and living mindfully, consciously, it may even increase the length of that dash. Who knows? But we live with that uncertainty. But hey, if you practice meditation every day, live a mindful, happy life with meaning and joy, healthily, then that's certainly, potentially likely to increase the length of that dash. And when that end date comes, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's okay. I've had a fulfilled life. It has been of worth. And in that also that our life has been an example, maybe even a model, a bit of a template to others of how they can live their life as well, those that we leave behind. So any thoughts for yourself around, this idea of the dash? How are we living our dash? How long is our dash going to be?
I was just thinking, John, when you said your mother's 89, my mother was also 89 when she died, and she was also cognitively impaired. Hers was dementia, though not a brain hemorrhage. But I do think I think that she had really made the decision, even somewhere in there, in that confused mind of hers, she'd made the decision. And even though perhaps it wasn't a full life, she wasn't mindful all the time, she certainly wasn't meditating or following any particular philosophy, that, it was just, maybe I've just done what I can.
Yeah.
There's nothing more I can do, and even if she'd done, we know, some terrible things and some good things, just forgave herself and just let go.
Yeah,
I think it was a decision.
Yeah.
Largely too, she never wanted to be 90. Thought it was too old.
Well, I think that and 90, it's just a number basically, and so it doesn't matter whether it's 90 or 89 or 97, 99 or 100. It's just a number. It's more just sometimes people know when the expiry date is happening. It's just like, okay, it's this body, this cloak for consciousness. It's done its dash. Its due date is up. We can't sort of extend it any longer. It's not worthwhile. It's like today, my partner Hannah went down and she bought a lovely new printer, and it looks exactly like the one that I had to take off the table and replace with this one. It's same brand, everything's the same, but the old one, it just wasn't functioning. It had done its dash, and no amount of talking to it and fiddling with it or bashing it would make it work anymore or any better or longer. So it's like, okay, we just have to let go and allow this to be sort of taken away and new one in its place to do the same job. And sometimes these bodies are the same. It's like, okay, well, it's just not working anymore. The reality of the human condition. Same with these things. This phone's actually probably about this phone's, it's not a new one, but the chip, the SIM card in it's probably about 15 years old. We've taken out two other phones into this one. So new body, old SIM card. So it's got the energy information. It's now generating and firing up the new body. There's rebirth for you. Any other thoughts or questions?
I have a question, John.
Yes.
What advice would you give somebody like your mother or your mother that you just spoke about that has short timing,
Mm,
the end of the dash? Now, consequently, you're just waiting for a finale to your existence, basically. And are you still the doer that does all of these activities, but your body doesn't really let you do
mm,
12 hours a day of activities,
Sure.
just maybe 1 hour or 2 hours? Your advice?
mm. Yeah, so I think that people can feel frustrated and disappointed in their vehicle, in their body,
Yeah.
that it's not functioning and as it was. So my advice to people is to allow it to be so. No, it's this process of life involves beginning at a point where we are totally helpless. We didn't need to have someone do everything for us, feed us and toilet us and move us around and dress us and so forth. And then, unfortunately, and not for everyone, but most people will get to a point where there's things they just can't do. They need someone to help them with this or do that for them or drive them here, or I'll open that can for you, or I'll make your food for you. And so it's sort of like the end is like it was in the beginning, being sort of helpless. And the only thing is that the baby has a whole long, dash to look forward to. The older person, it's sort of like, I need to let go, allow other people to be helpful for me, and just be patient and compassionate towards this body that's declining. It's following its natural course of nature, and at the same time, in whatever the person can to try and enjoy the simple things, whether it's just sitting and watching a bit of TV, or listening to some music, or having a cup of tea, just enjoying the simple things. In a way, it's a little bit like on a meditation retreat. It's about simplifying things right down so that you're just sitting and just listening, maybe looking, feeling one's breath, mindfully eating, swallowing. So everything gets really, really minimized and simplified in that aging process. And it becomes a sort of if one can be mindful, because sometimes people they can't, their brain mind isn't able to do that, but at least to have a sense of being more at ease and content in the present moment.
Just so show compassion
Yeah,
to the people that are trying to do their whatever part they're playing in your
for
in
sure.
your life.
Yeah,
Just see it as a natural thing, and
yeah.
okay.
And particularly to let people help us, because if for most people there's a sense of it feels good to be helpful for another human being.
Yeah.
And so we're giving the other person a gift of feeling good by being able to be helpful for us.
Okay.
Anything else?
John, over the last few months, I've had an aunt go into a aged care centre in Mundrubba. Nice one, nice grounds and that, but it's a bit confronting. I've known it for many years. And then just in the last 6 weeks, I've had a wife of a very good friend go into a home. Her husband passed away about last September, and now she's suffering from memory loss and gone into a home. And it's not something that I'm looking forward to, if that's one of the paths that I end up going on, because you look around there and go, Wow, it's not the place I'd like to end up.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, a bit like a hospital room, and they got an ensuite and television, and go and eat your meals, and something that got nice views.
So maybe that becomes a motivation, Peter, to make sure that you're living mindfully and enjoying whatever life one has before that end may come. And because one doesn't know what that end's going to be like. My mother certainly, she didn't want to go into a nursing home. She's likely to, but her plan was not to go into a nursing home. And but sometimes that just naturally happens. There's certainly these days there's more options of people getting care in their own home, so that may be possible for us. And but it does depend upon how well we are when when it does come to that time in life, what we can do for ourselves, what we can't do for ourselves. I think for my mother, I think that she would have been much better if she'd been doing more exercises to be able to get herself up and do things and be a bit more mobile, because that's a limiting factor for her, just the fact that she's not as mobile as she could have otherwise been. So maybe if you're interested, look up The Dash by Linda Ellis as a verse for reflection. Thanks for coming out this evening, and have a pleasant evening and a good week, and see you next time. But particularly also, just as a reminder, the Sunday meditation day with Venerable Ajahn Medino. He's a very senior Western Buddhist monk from Holland who I was with in Thailand. So he'll be here on the 29th, on the Thursday before the 29th. The 29th is a Sunday. I forget what that date is for the Thursday, but it's mentioned on my website as well, the Sunday retreat day for those of you that might be able to come along to that. Good. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.